So I've been trying to talk about this topic for a couple of weeks of our recordings, but we just never get there because like we deviate into other things so much and then I completely forget. But I think the Vera Rubin Observatory is fascinating.
It's real cool.
First of all, it's the like first major telescope that's been named after a woman, believe it or not.
Is it really?
Yeah. There's like smaller things, but like a major, like a James Webb or a Hubble. Anything else you think of is always male. So this is like a first major telescope that's finally named after a woman, guys.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was named after a woman. I just didn't know that was the first one.
Like the first major one. She was a pioneer in the research of like dark matter and things like that. So it's fitting that this telescope does that. But what makes it really cool is that essentially it's going to allow us to see the universe the way it truly is, which is dynamic and changing, because over the course of 10 years it's going to map the entire southern sky like multiple times a week, put that shit all together and make like a movie of our cosmos, of such a large portion of the sky, with the largest digital camera in the world. It's 3.2 gigapixels, so 3.2 billion pixels in one single shot.
To be honest, I don't even, that makes no sense to me.
I know, I don't get it either.
I don't even know how to visualize that.
I don't either.
It's just crisp.
I just know it's the largest, and whatever that means. But 3.2, and you hear the word billion, so
like what's an
lot.
iPhone? Like I don't even know how to compare that.
Okay, its field of view is, I wrote this down, guys. I know these things, but it's a lot of numbers to remember. Field of view is 40 times larger than the full moon. So it's doing that.
Damn, okay.
Multiple areas of the southern sky, multiple times a week for 10 years. So this is why we're going to get a movie from this telescope.
That's
over
so cool.
time. Yeah,
it's like a real map too.
It is a real map,
which would be very handy someday if we ever actually travel
outside of the moon. Yeah, exactly, because it'll map essentially the Milky Way, which is astounding. So full operations in 2026. It's already given us some stuff. I remember I posted stuff about it earlier this year where it's just like a giant picture of the sky and the amount of detail that you see. Well, you have a digital camera like this, it's going to be incredible.
It's just fun to zoom in.
Yes.
Just keep zooming and zooming and zooming and see where it stops.
Exactly, because it doesn't end. Yeah, for sure. So anyone can look up the images. Some of them are already out there, but just imagine 10 years from now, or 10 years from next year, 11 years from now, we're going to just get an incredible video, a dynamic, chaotic universe. And it'll help us understand dark matter and dark energy, tracks near-Earth objects, which is very important.
That's good.
You know,
Could use that.
We don't want to die by asteroid.
Jesus,
we don't
want to
we don't want to go the way of the dinosaurs. We're better than them. And essentially just like exploring a changing sky. Oh, the observatory will capture 20 terabytes of data every night.
Oh my God.
Again,
my brain is like,
years.
it just sounds like a number.
Yeah,
like,
it's just
I don't know.
60 petabytes. I don't even know what that is. Whatever, exponentially amount of data that is over the course of 10 years. So yeah, so super cool. But the biggest reason I want to talk about it is just, a tribute to a woman in STEM, because we need more of them to be recognized in this day and age. It's getting better. Like that movie Hidden Figures, amazing.
Yes.
Like that kind of stuff. Like the amount of women who've contributed to STEM over the years who've just gotten so fucked over. Last time we were talking and you brought up fission, and I mentioned that one female scientist. I had forgotten at the time her name, and forgive me if I mispronounce it. It's spelled Lise. So Lise
I think it depends on her.
Yeah, her background, which she is.
I actually don't know her.
Yeah, which is insane. So Otto Hahn was her partner, and another guy, I'm forgetting, Fritz something. Anyway, there's a very small line in Oppenheimer where, because the fission process had to do with the making of that bomb, right?
Yeah.
I remember in that story, Cillian Murphy playing Oppenheimer was, I think he's the one who said it, but he's like, Fritz and Otto figured it out, talking about fission.
Oh,
and didn't
it's just a throwaway line.
Yeah, and it's a throwaway line, unless you know the history of the fact that it was actually Lise, who had figured out the data, that they had discovered fission. So they got the Nobel Prize, but she didn't. And I think she was also disconnected from it, unfortunately, because she was Jewish, so there's a lot of shit happening there that she had to flee where she was from. She didn't get the Nobel Prize or anything, but she's technically the one who figured out the data. So hence why I wanted to talk about Vera Rubin Observatory.
God, so
the first major telescope named after a woman. So here we are, but it's going to be incredible. I would like to think, it's hard to compare telescopes. Like, I'm not going to say it's going to be better than James Webb. They have very different functions.
Yeah.
So
and
it's
also,
just,
it's fighting through the atmosphere. James Webb is not.
Yeah, because this is in Chile. Am I just assuming that because they all are?
I know, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm going to trust my instinct of that. But in Southern Sky, which is what it's mapping.
Which I've never seen.
I was born in it, girl.
Yeah,
It's
I
beautiful.
know. That's so crazy.
It's
Like,
crazy. I actually like it more. Not only is the moon upside down relative to how you see it here,
oh
but
my
I
God.
just think like the
Never thought of
constellations,
that.
like it's just beautiful.
I don't know a single constellation in the southern hemisphere. Not at all.
I couldn't tell you. I
Don't know
can't
any of 'em.
remember. You got the Southern Cross.
Like, if you just dropped me there out of like a deep sleep, I would just
Yeah.
assume I was on another planet.
Yeah.
I'd be like, this isn't
This
my
is
sky.
the Savannah.
don't-
Where's
I don't know
where's
where
the
we
Big
are.
Dipper? Where's
That's
yeah,
the only
exactly.
one that I'm like, there
It's the
you
only one
are.
anyone. That and like Orion. And I want to say
Yeah.
Orion transcends both hemispheres. I don't know what constellations are just specifically north and one are south, but I know
I
you
have
can
no
see
idea.
the large Magellanic Cloud, which I'll send you an image, but it's one of my
Okay.
favorite objects because when you actually zoom into it and look at it, it looks like a literal FU, and I just find that hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yes.
do want to see that.
Oh my God, the first time I saw it, I finally found it with binoculars and I was dying of laughter.
Oh, so it's not naked eye thing.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you'll get more of like the resolution if you just
But you can see the
Yeah.
arms of the Milky Way still and all that too down there,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously here we can't, but
no.
in my hometown you could see it. And once it was dark enough for that, you couldn't see any constellations. They were all unrecognizable because every star popped out. And you're like,
Yes. I don't know what's what anymore.
yeah.
Yeah, right?
I'm
Isn't
like,
that crazy and
can't
like
see it.
sad? The only reason we can kind of recognize some constellations in this day and age is
they're
because
drowned
there's
out.
nothing else to
Yeah.
see. But imagine that times a million other stars that they're fighting against. It is incredible what our ancestors were able to do. They really had to observe this shit over so
Yeah.
much time, collect data, realize that, oh, some of them are moving differently. Those are considered planets versus actual stars. Some
True.
go into retrograde, which isn't actually a thing, guys.
What, Mercury in
Retrograde doesn't mean anything, at least not scientifically speaking.
It's just for our perspective.
Yeah.
It looks that way.
it looks like it's
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
a backflip, but it's just
Right.
because our orbits are passing each other.
I just love how they figured all that out.
Isn't that incredible?
I would have been like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But
That's
if you
just a
look
weird
at it
star.
every day,
That's right.
I don't
That's,
know.
That's your entertainment at night for your entire lifetime. You'll figure
Yeah.
things out for sure.
I mean, it's like that call that we had with Justin and Dakota, and we looked at that picture of the building. I'm like, it's east or north. And you guys are like, how could you know that? And I'm like, at first I didn't know. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. But it's because I could tell by how bright it was. And by the way, like the sun would have to be in the south or in the west for it to have been that bright.
Right.
So that's why I was like, it has to be one of those two directions. And I had to really think about it. I was like, I don't know how I know that.
but like instinctually, you kind of just
yeah.
trust your gut. We saw some mountains in there, so eventually we found out. We got confirmation that it was north, but
which makes sense.
which makes sense.
Yeah, because they're not going to want to deal with the shadows coming in.
You won't
so.
be a successful studio. It's a recording studio where we record this, but like they have massive windows behind it, and we're like,
We're like,
what direction?
What time
is
do we
this?
book this
Yes,
so the sun's
exactly,
not
so the
in our
sun's
face? And
we're
I
not
was like,
silhouetted.
I was like, I think we'll be okay because it's
Yeah.
like north because they do that with ski mountains. They always face north or east
Because
always-
you're not being blinded by the sun.
and also because the sun won't melt the snow.
Yeah.
because it's facing the opposite direction.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's why like if you're skiing, it's dark at like 2 p.m. because the sun is already kind
It's
of
just
behind the
gone.
mountain.
Yeah,
and then it's
got it.
miserable. Never do the last run. Never do the last
It's
run.
freezing your ass off.
No, because they say never do the last run because that's when people get injured. So you're supposed to stop before you want to have your last run, and that's what you train people to do.
Oh.
So like when we were doing search and rescue, like it was always the end of the day that everybody was getting hurt.
Right.
It was so frustrating. I'm like, just go home, dude.
Like, come on.
Just go home.
Everyone, med people are like, okay, we're almost there. And then one by one, everyone starts to get hurt. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm staying. So if they were like, it's kind of slow, do you want to go home? I'd be like, yes,
Please,
like,
before
2 or 3
everybody gets
p.m.
hurt. Exactly.
Yeah, it's craziness.
Oh, man.
It's crazy.
Yes, winter. It's been lovely and rainy here in LA. I've been
know.
enjoying it, kind of chilly. This is the time.
You're so secretly a white person.
I am.
Like, what do you mean you want
I
the
think
clouds?
in a past life I was born in Scotland. The one and only time I've ever been there to Edinburgh. I just fell in love with the city. I felt like there was a connection. My only complaint was that the food sucks ass, but I'm
Yeah.
Indian, so it's always
But you do
gonna suck,
like
but-
European food. Because every time I'm like, let's get pasta,
Oh,
you're like,
yeah.
yes, absolutely. I'm
Down.
like, oh, thank
my
God.
The carbs just like keep you cozy.
And then when I texted you yesterday, like, do you want some apple crisp?
Yes.
She's like, yes. I'm like, oh, thank God that European
I just
palate
before
you
her
got.
text even sent to me, I just had this feeling, and I was like, yes. You don't even know what I'm about to ask. I do though.
Because it comes in this huge thing, and I
Yeah.
can't like cut it
You
down.
can't-
And I'm
no,
like,
I'm happy to take
somebody
desserts
needs to eat
from
some
anybody.
of this.
We should get a PO box for this show. That way, when people send us things, it's just desserts, guys. Just send us that.
I love. Actually, to be honest, I would take fried chicken over
A
any
sweet?
dessert. Yeah. Did you ever do Ancestry.com where they ask you those questions?
No, I never did any
Okay.
DNA type of testing shit.
You should do it. It's pretty fascinating because now
Ancestry does DNA tests, right?
Yeah.
Do they do the swab?
They do the
and
swab.
everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But now can't speak for. Oh, the other one filed for bankruptcy. I think
23andMe.
23andMe. Yeah,
Okay.
Ancestry's still going.
Okay.
But because they have such a huge database now, they can add so much more information,
Yeah.
and they are slowly getting better and better. Like when I first took that test, I was 3% Black.
Nice.
I was like, that's not gonna last. And then they slowly, as they have more data, they can like refine it. But now they can figure out if you're more likely to be left-handed, right-handed, short-sighted, colorblind, like things that are kind of helpful if you want to know. And the one that I just saw, they were like, we have a new trait. That's what they call them. We have a new trait, and it was sweet or savory if you're like genetically inclined for one. And mine was sweet, and I was like, that's not where
your natural instinct if you're
No.
accepting food.
It's my mom for sure. She's a hummingbird. Whenever I see her, she's like suckling on like raw sugar. I'm like,
gotcha.
And she gets her sugar checked. She's fine.
She's fine.
Yeah.
I have low blood sugar, so I tend to go for sweets.
Yeah.
But I get what you mean. Like if you're starving, okay, once you have a sweet, you're good. But you don't get sick of savory.
There's a genetic
sweet.
reason for that too, of why you crave sugars, salts, and fats, because they're supposed to be hard to find in nature. So if you don't crave it, you won't seek it out to try to get it.
Yeah.
That's why they're supposed to be these big cravings. And instead, now that we get immediate gratification, we can get whatever we want, and our bodies weren't designed for it, and now we have all these problems.
So it's like social media, but edible.
Yeah,
type of way, pretty much.
Yeah. So you're supposed to crave it.
That's right. I mean, sugar is 100% an addiction. I remember in 2016, just for a challenge for myself, I wanted to see if I can stop craving sweets because I have a big sweet tooth.
Yeah.
And I was able to. I remember for a party I had, I baked cookies. There were some leftovers. Normally, I would annihilate them on my own, but I didn't even want them.
Really?
And I sadly threw them away. But so you're able to. If you just kind of go cold turkey, you can help yourself with that addiction. But also, like, that was just an experiment. I like living life, and I like desserts. And
well, I've noticed that when I cut back, everything tastes the same as it did before. Because you, like, acclimate almost to the new sugar levels. And it's like, because I used to dump so much sugar. Oh, because I'm a New Englander, so Dunkin'. They put so much sugar in their coffee. So I grew up with that.
Yeah.
And then when I came to California, and, like, the first job I got, I worked at a coffee shop. And they saw me pour in the sugar, because this was San Francisco. And they were like,
what are you
doing?
And
they were like, I'm telling you, if you slowly cut back, it will taste the exact same it tastes to you now. And I didn't believe him. It took like 3 months.
It'll take time.
But it's true. Like now when I drink a latte, I'm like, this tastes exactly as it did to me when I was dumping sugar in. So I'm like,
isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Same thing with salt. When I first moved to California, like Ohio puts way more salt in their food and California doesn't. And so when I had Chipotle here the first time, I was like, this is so fucking bland. But it's just because in Ohio, the Chipotles there are so salty. So
what is that? Why do they do that?
I don't know. It's like a flavor thing. California, I think, doesn't because they're way more, as I'm just assuming, health conscious about stuff.
Maybe.
And then you just get used to it. So now if I go back to Ohio and eat food there, I'm like, there's a lot of flavor, but you're like, holy shit, the sodium level is kind of crazy.
New England's like that because of the seafood, because everything's just salty.
Yeah.
So every time I go back, I'm like, whoa. And then they put maple syrup. Depends on the time of year, but they put maple syrup in everything.
Damn.
They put it in their coffee. I was telling a friend this. You know what season it is? Like if you just got dropped blind in New England, you would know what month it was because every month is a new thing. Like June, everything has blueberries. June and July, blueberries everywhere. And then strawberries is August. And then September, it's like squash or something. It depends on where in New England you are. October is for sure apples until November, pumpkins. And then December is squash. And then, like, so every month you have, like, a new thing, and it's in everything.
Damn.
It's in your breakfast food. It's in your lunches, your dinners. They're like, we just dump whatever's
whatever's
growing.
Like, plentiful at this bountiful in this moment.
It's so good. The seafood there is so good.
I wish I liked seafood.
Actually, the World War II nuclear sub was built there. And actually, if you drive around Portsmouth, there's, like, random submarines everywhere. Like, in the ground. Like, as, like, an open museum kind of thing.
That's
like,
cool.
Yeah, because something about it's like the deepest bay. And so I think the submarines could be built like really inland and still be able to get out.
That's cool.
I'm pretty sure that's why they did that. But
have you ever been in a sub? Like, did any of the tours?
Not like in the water part. But the outside ones, you can just walk into. But
yeah, because the Museum OMSI in Portland, Oregon, you can tour a sub, and it like
in the water.
No, was it? I can't remember. Girl.
That I would be like no.
But it's claustrophobic as hell in there. And you got a bunch of dudes historically stuck together in this shit.
It pays really well, though. I think it's like one of the highest paying jobs
I would hope
in the military.
With what you have to deal with. So
well, and it's like, I don't know why they act like there's a chance they could survive if they're hit. Or if they hit something. I'm like, there's no chance.
Yeah.
Like,
you're
just gonna,
stuck, or you got to like try to get out and swim to the surface.
it's like that
and
scene
then
in Mission
what?
Impossible. I swear
The
to God,
first one?
the most recent one
Oh, I
where
didn't see
he
it.
swims down to a submarine and they
Yes.
tell him about the bends. And I'm like, okay, they're including it. Great, right? Where the gases of nitrogen expand in your body and kill you, right? And I'm like, cool, they mentioned it because that would be so critical. And anyone who dives would know that and
Yeah.
tell the movie, you need to mention this. He's going 800 feet deep or something. And then he just like swims up immediately. I'm like,
Love
didn't
it.
we just go over how
They're like,
you can't do that?
hey, viewers, we want you guys to know we did our research.
Yeah.
We know, but for storytelling, we don't care.
Right.
That's crazy.
Just like the Fantastic Four thing when she's giving birth and
Yeah.
they're floating and he's like, we need to find gravity. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then they never actually did. And she gives birth floating. I'm like,
Just
hemorrhage.
because you tell us you know what you know the science, it doesn't mean you
Doesn't
get a
mean you're gonna do
pass to
it.
just like throw it out the window.
It's so
Yeah,
frustrating.
that
And
is annoying.
Mission Impossible, usually like you can suspend disbelief in the sense of like when he jumps a certain building or something, you're like, whatever, okay, it's
Yeah.
fun. But like diving that deep to
Yeah.
a submarine with no shirt on, by the way, in Antarctica or wherever, the Greenland, and I'm like,
Lord.
wouldn't like you can physically do it?
Yeah.
You know, they do cold plunges all the time in the north, and it's like a big thing, but you have to like build up to that to be able
Sure.
to withstand that. Even if you're white like Tom Cruise
Yeah.
is, like
Yeah.
you still need to train your body to be able to handle that. And he would have died. My brain was just frying at every shot, like
Yeah.
something's wrong here, something's wrong there. Like none of it was scientifically accurate.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
They mentioned it. He went through
Yeah.
a whole decompression process before this. I'm like, yes.
It's almost like just don't even mention it.
I
then.
know.
Don't just be like, guys, give us
Yeah.
a pass. We know, but we just don't care.
Yeah.
I remember when I saw the Meg just for fun because I like big.
I love that movie.
I love big
I
creature
love that
movies.
movie.
But Jason
Love
Statham's
it.
character punches a megalodon. I'm like, yes. You know what? This movie accepted that it was batshit, so go for it. In that
mean,
case, go for it.
If you got it in the eye, I'd be like, okay.
I know its
I'd be
eye is
annoyed.
probably like this. Yeah, it'd be like,
It's just this whole
But I think he
table.
like punched it on its like snout.
Oh, I don't
That's-
remember that.
I don't. I just
scene.
something. Or I might be making this up because it would fit the film. I swear to God, there was a
Oh,
point
yeah.
he punched the megalodon. I'm like, yes.
Or was it the smaller one that
It might
they
have-
thought was the megalodon or whatever?
I only
and
saw this movie once
I love
because it was enough.
love
but
that movie.
I love creature
So,
like big
like,
animal type
Yeah.
of films
And you're
too.
like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Except the most recent
Oh
one.
my God, I gave up. I also just like annoyed when these companies are just trying to milk the shit out of their franchises
Yeah.
and then they ruin the actual IP in the process. But
Yeah.
you know what though? How can we complain? Because that movie made like a fucking $1 billion. So stop seeing this shit.
I know.
Stop supporting it.
It's just there's like subtle ways to be scientifically accurate without having to go into like this huge interstellar Christopher Nolan explanation. Like there's
Yeah.
ways of just visualizing it.
Totally.
That's why I liked Oppenheimer. They did plow through a lot.
Yeah.
And it's kind of okay. Like, do people really need to know what neutrons are
No.
doing? Like neutrinos or whatever. It's like, no, they probably don't.
Right.
You can just visualize an explosion and people are like, got it, chain reaction.
Chain reaction.
And that's okay. And that's enough.
Proton.
But like honestly, the thing that annoyed me the most about the most recent Jurassic Park movie was they're running around for 3 days and they haven't eaten. And you got a little kid.
yeah.
Maybe a full grown man and woman can like power through.
Right.
But they'll be slow, tired, sluggish. But like a little girl, no way.
Yeah, there's no way.
She'll be like croaking.
Dying. Yeah.
Like, she
to
needs
carry her
eat.
limp body.
And then the two teenagers, they debatably might be struggling the most.
Yeah, because their metabolisms are so
Are the
fast,
highest,
and they
right. So
require
it's
a
like,
lot.
And so if they had just pulled out their backpack and they had like waterproof
Yeah.
MREs, anything, and they're just
Give it a
munching on it,
pass.
I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, this makes sense.
And then that's fine. You don't have to explain it, but you get
Yeah.
a visual real quick of like, oh, they have food in their backpack.
I had no desire to see it, but I heard that family in there was also such a useless plot point.
Yeah,
They're
they
like they serve nothing to the story.
I don't know why they were there.
Who the fuck knows? I
'Cause
don't even think the writers know why they were there, honestly.
It didn't motivate
It
the
did nothing.
Marines or whoever was sent in to save
Yeah.
everybody. Like, they already were motivated, so they
Right.
didn't need the extra push, which a family, that would probably be the only push they provided.
Right.
The emotional push of like, save the kids.
Yeah, but
It's
if
like-
you took them out of the story would have still played
Been
the
the
same
exact
way.
same.
It was like last night I watched because I like wanted to watch more sci-fi horror for some reason, so I watched Europa Report. Did you ever see it? It's like a lower budget film, but some like well-known
Yeah.
faces.
Yeah, because
I
that,
don't know what
that actor, the South
that's
African,
African. Yeah,
I
he
love
was in District
him.
9. Yeah.
He's so good.
He's great.
I was going to watch it because he's in it, but
Yeah.
then it was like very scary.
It's not at all scary.
Or is it? Okay,
No,
I
I
haven't seen it,
wish.
so
Girl, I
okay.
wish. But it's another movie where like it didn't know what it wanted to be. And there's so many things
too
that
bad.
happen along the way that if you took it out of the story, it made no impact at all. So it was kind of like we want to look like we're a very smart film versus just accepting that you ideally want it to be a creature sci-fi horror.
Yeah.
And it wasn't at all.
Because it doesn't come in until the very end, right? Spoiler
Right.
alert.
Right.
It's like the last second.
But it's like they over explain the shit out of why we're going to Europa, which literally could have been one line in the beginning.
What'd they say?
Just because of like the potential of life there, which is accurate, with the oceans. And I think in this film, I was talking to a friend throughout the film, so I must have missed some lines because I was criticizing the shit out of
Were
it.
you in the movie theater talking shit?
No, I was just at home.
Oh, okay.
But they had more evidence than we do today that there's a potential of life there.
Okay.
So then they send a manned mission, which also doesn't make sense because you would send a probe first.
Right,
but
of course.
Sure,
Yeah.
you want a sci-fi horror, go for it. You pick the right moon, all of that. But it was like, oh my God, the amount of times they had to mention the reasons why we're going to Europa throughout like the first
That's
2/3 of the film. It just didn't make sense.
You
It
think
had
the
a cool
editor would have caught
concept.
that?
Yeah, like it just
like-
it didn't make sense. Versus, I watched another movie last week from 2017 called Life with Jake Gyllenhaal, where they like
Oh, that sounds
that's
familiar.
actually it's silly, but it's like yes, you want it to be a sci-fi horror. It's a little dumb, but it was fun.
Wait, what's that one about?
This was like when there's astronauts on the ISS, and then they intercept this essentially like a Mars sample return mission where they have samples from Mars, and the ISS. I forgot why exactly the ISS had to intercept it, which doesn't make sense. But let's say we'll go with it.
We need gas like in Armageddon.
Yeah,
We're gonna
so
fuel
like,
up.
it like quickly, and they like grabbed it, and then they pulled out the samples from the sample, and then they had a biologist on board, and then they found a little microbial life, and then it's dormant, and then they brought it back to life, and this creature exponentially grows, and then like wreaks havoc.
Yeah.
And it's just like fun. It's like, yeah, this is what it. Don't try to be too smart.
Yeah.
Let me just see the creature.
Yeah.
Let me see it wreak havoc, and we'll give you a pass on everything else.
I wonder if that's why Arrival worked so well, because they did talk about the creatures a lot, but you care really only about two characters.
Yeah, right. You
That's
gave
it.
them an arc. You see them as a full person. I read the short story that Arrival's based off of. Super cute, very different. Like the
didn't know
movie
that. Okay.
made it an actual 2-hour drama with an arc. It was cute. I think you can just download the PDF. I forgot what it was
Okay.
called, but if you just look up Arrival short story,
I didn't know
it's
that.
super quick. But the author does go into a little more detail of the anatomy of the aliens, and they're very
Okay.
symmetrical like they were in the film.
Sure.
But very different tones, like just completely different, but also still mess with the idea
What's
of
the
time.
tone?
Because like Arrival is just like pure drama.
Yeah.
I would say the short story is just, it's a lot more, not lighthearted. It's like not a comedy, but it doesn't take
Okay.
itself too seriously.
It's just like derp life.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I'm
Okay.
going to give you details on these aliens. They're very symmetrical. It also talks about the idea of time travel. I do remember one thing about it. It was like, because in the film, she's able to, when she rewires her
Yeah.
brain, see the future.
Yeah.
And the idea being, if you knew what was going to happen, would you go down that same path? Like she
Yeah.
knew her daughter would die. Spoiler. And
It's been out for.
Is it? Yeah, you know what?
If
This
you
is-
haven't seen it,
that's a
like,
good
come
point.
on.
Yeah, it's been like 8 years.
Yeah.
But knowing that I'm gonna have a daughter and she's gonna die, would I still allow myself to get pregnant? But according to the short story, is that you can see the future, but there's nothing you can do to stop it. For some reason, you're inclined to
Okay.
still follow that
Closed.
path.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a closed loop.
Yeah, exactly.
Because those are the two theories with time travel. Basically, is like it's a closed loop where fate decides everything for you, and anything you do to stop it still makes it happen.
yeah.
So it's like a river where you throw a rock in and the water just corrects it anyway. It doesn't make a
Right.
difference. Or there's the whole
grandfather
the
paradox.
multiverse, and it actually
Yeah.
creates a new universe every time you make a different decision. So you have all these infinite timelines.
Many worlds.
Yeah.
Quantum immortality. I won't torture with you again, but I keep
I know,
thinking
that
about
one,
that.
like, no, thank you. I actually like the closed loop the most.
Mhm.
That to me seems like the most realistic because
You also probably like. Wait, let me think about this. Would it mean that you're someone who likes more control or less? Are you relinquishing control
It's
because you're like,
actually-
no matter what, it's going to happen anyway?
it's actually a mathematical thing, which is
Mhm.
related to chaos theory, which is that it's just you don't know all the variables, so you can't predict them. And then this would be giving you all those variables, but there's still nothing you can do anyway because high pressure is going to go to low pressure and the sun's going to rise.
Yeah.
And you actually have very little control. Ultimately.
So it's kind of freeing in that way.
I find it
Yeah,
freeing.
yeah, right?
So I like the closed loop.
Yeah.
On everything is going to move the way it's going to move.
That many worlds thing is just like, if you really think about it, it's any quantum event. It doesn't just apply to like human consciousness or anything.
Yeah.
Even like photons out there can be splitting into.
I mean,
it's just unending. So
Yeah.
it's too overwhelming at that point. It just becomes
Well, and the amount of
crazy.
energy
it would take.
and it's a lot of energy. That's a lot of matter. And how is matter just appearing out of nowhere every time a decision is made? And it's duplicating. The energy has to duplicate too.
How the
Yeah.
hell? And when this is a multiverse, like different branches you can to transcend, no matter what Marvel tells you, how can you
I
ever test
know.
for it? So that's why it's just really fun, speculative sci-fi right now. If I get one more story that's multiverse related or of some
Yeah.
kind, I just no. If you're gonna do it now, do it in a way more creative way, please, because
And, oh, you
Yeah.
in the movies?
all of it, it's almost
Yeah.
like, oh well, you know, a superhero in our timeline died. That's cool. We'll get the other version
such
of
a
him in another
cop-out.
one. It is
It's such a cop-out.
So like, there's no inherent risk or stakes anymore because
Yeah.
well, there's an infinite amount of use. And again, so far, no one's done it better than Rick and Morty, in my opinion. So
I don't even watch that show. The animation freaks me out.
it's a little weird, and like
like-
their eyes are weird.
Yeah.
Versus like, you know, I'm a big fan of Family Guy. That animation style is beautiful.
It's very clean.
Yeah,
Now
exactly.
it is. I
That-
lived in Pawtucket, Rhode Island when that came out, which is crazy. So
Gotcha.
we were like, did they just say Pawtucket?
Yeah.
Like we were, and then we
I didn't know
realized,
that was a real place.
yeah, somebody eventually said something at school that like, oh, the creator went to RISD,
Yeah.
which was like down the street, so to speak. And we were like, okay, that's how he knows Pawtucket.
That's how we know.
That's how he knows a shithole. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I
don't-
walked around that way. What city is Rizzy and Brown in? I was there.
Providence.
That's right.
Yeah.
I walked around that place. I liked it. I was told to be safe, but
Yeah.
you know, I guess when you're
Bring
a tourist,
gun. Bring many
God
guns.
damn. Yeah, I walked around that whole city before. When I was
It's
there on
safer
tour.
now, they say.
Right.
I haven't been, and I have literally no interest.
No, that's fair.
Like if I were like a famous touring singer, I would specifically be like, never Providence. They're gonna have to come to well, it's not called Foxborough anymore. I don't think anyway. I haven't lived in New England in so long. I don't even
It's
know
all
what's going on in
changed.
there anymore. I'm like,
Providence
I
now
don't
has
know.
the least crime in the entire world.
Oh,
Just kidding.
God,
no,
I would
have
be
no idea.
like-
But yeah, there was an like season 10 or something. Again, huge fan of older Family Guy. But they did a really fun multiverse episode, if anyone remembers
Guy?
that. Yeah. There was one where they had like a Disney version of themselves.
yes, I
It
love
was
that
so
episode.
cute.
It's Brian and
Stewie. They use his
I
like
remember that.
multiverse travel machine to go to
Yeah.
all these different places.
and Meg is like super hot in one of
and
them.
she's still considered like the ugly one in that
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I
And then
totally remember
because that was the universe too where Christianity never existed, so science or humanity was like 1,000 years ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just super fun. And
Oh my God.
Yeah, I loved that episode. I will say real quick, it came out before Rick and Morty, so like
Oh, Family Guy did. Yeah.
they did it first, y'all.
And the Simpsons did it before them too, and they
Oh,
were
I'm
kind of
not
touching on that
surprised.
stuff.
Multiverse?
I don't know multiverse, but they do always seem to know what's going to happen. But at the same time, they have so many episodes that one of them's bound to be right.
There
so
you
it's like,
go. It's statistics at that
yeah,
point.
it's like,
Absolutely.
they're gonna get this
They're
at
gonna
some
get
point.
some. That's true. Isn't that funny? We did talk about that on Strange and Suspicious. It's like, yeah, there were maybe 5 episodes out of 10 million, just exaggerating, hundreds.
It's probably
that got it
thousands.
right.
It's gotta be.
At this point,
Yeah.
30 years later, 40 years later.
The Trump one is crazy though. With
That
the
one is
escalator,
crazy.
that one is like highly specific.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's actually true. I never saw that episode myself before it happened.
And now, yeah, that's a good point. How do you
And the
verify?
Mandela effect, I'm like, was somebody lying to me?
That's
know,
the
I'm like-
thing.
That's the kind of research when I make videos is so hard to fact check without ChatGPT, which
Even
I know,
then,
but
yeah.
if I'm looking for basic quick answers, I do use ChatGPT.
No, that's fine.
I'll be like, what year did the episode
yeah.
with Trump coming down the escalator come out in The Simpsons? And
Mm-hmm.
then it will be like, 1994. And then I will actually check. The most recent thing was the video that I did today on how nursing and engineering are not going to be considered a professional degree. Have you heard of that?
No, why?
It's like-
Because AI is going to take over for it
No,
instead?
it's within the last 3 days. I don't know why the story's blowing up
the
because
hell?
it was decided in July when Trump signed the One Big Beautiful Bill. It was in there.
Mm.
And I read the bill so many times last night and I'm like, I don't know what everybody's talking about. Because in the bill, it basically says it's all about student loans. That's why everybody's really irritated right now.
Gotcha.
It is really shitty. They're cutting back on student loans for graduate degrees, for the professional degrees. And in that bill, they're basically saying you can only get this much and that much if you're applying for a professional degree as defined in the oh my God, I forget what the act. I already forgot what it was. Whatever. Act in 1965 related to this. The One Big Beautiful Bill doesn't change the definition. It's just saying refer to that definition, and then that definition is like, here's 10 degrees, but it does not include or exclude. Like, this is just examples.
Yeah.
So it's actually never been defined.
So where's this shit coming from then?
I don't know.
Like these large claims.
It doesn't say that they're changing the definition.
Yeah.
It is annoying that theology is considered a professional degree because like, look, if you're gonna remove nurses,
no shit,
then what is the standard here? I don't mind if theology is on there if like finger painting also is,
but
it's like,
exactly.
You've removed a nurse. Well, not removed, it was never there. So it's like, but it was never defined. At this point, then they would just be doing whatever they want. It's not that the bill says that's what you have to do, and that's what's pissing me off, because like all of the headlines of like Newsweek and USA Today are like, Trump is removing nurses. It's like, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Now, if the headlines were saying Trump will remove nursing and engineering from the list, that I would be like, okay, I think that would be considered illegal because that's technically not in the bill to be allowed to do.
Yeah.
But he gets away with that stuff all the time that like, then I'd be like, okay, at least you're telling the truth.
One eternity later.
Okay, so in the early 2000s, you didn't have to take any programming courses. You had to do HTML. Do you remember that for like what? I don't know whether you, so I don't know. But like, you know, you had to do like the website building coding. That
never
was like,
did it.
That was the only thing they had us do. And then they were like, whatever. When I went back to school is when they really pushed programming on everybody. So before I went back to school, I was like, I don't know anything about programming.
Yeah.
Don't give a shit about it. You're going to do one of these online courses that Harvard offers. And so that teacher was super cool, like one of those young, hip kind of teachers that you love to see, really good at speaking, huge lecture hall. It was a 101 course. Everybody had to take it, right? And so he sat down on the edge of the stage and took off his shoes and his socks and like put them next to him. And he was like, if you're writing code to put on a pair of socks and then the shoes, what is the first line? And kids are just shouting out random stuff. And one of them is like, grab your sock. And he goes, with one hand. Your left hand, with what fingers? Your thumb and forefront finger. How do I pinch it? And like, as he's going through it and asking these questions, like everybody's starting to realize like, oh, I don't know how to think like this.
Yeah.
Like to the most basic, simple level.
Yeah.
Because that is what a computer is. That is how computer programming
Fascinating.
works. And I, like, something clicked in my brain when I was watching this. I was like, oh,
Brilliant.
I get it.
Yeah, well,
Yes,
it takes a good teacher.
Yeah.
Teaching it makes the biggest difference.
I highly
obviously, for
recommend
any
that
student.
course. I bet it's still online.
I'm sure. A
Even
lot
though
of these
it's
coding type things you can find online.
Yeah.
Take online courses.
I don't think we actually ever coded. I think it was more of like the philosophy behind it of how
I'm
to think
sure.
like a computer.
Yeah.
We might have coded. I don't remember. When you go to school for mathematics, you have to do like C++, Python. You have to learn all of those. And I was like, murder me.
Yeah,
I hated it
damn.
but at least I had that root knowledge of like, okay, I have to break this down to literally the lowest level, which has helped me make videos because it's the same process of like, I have to break this down to the lowest common denominator.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
How can you get anyone of any age? Well, no, let's say like 5th grade and up to understand something so complicated.
I don't
It's
shoot for
tough.
that age. It's too young, I think, for me.
Oh, no.
I think space stuff you can.
Oh, God. Oh, yes, you can, but
You
not,
know.
I mean, I don't like kids, so my content is clearly not for them.
I have
look
noticed like
sometimes.
a shift in the audience since I stopped swearing, but that was like I did that years ago. I mean, because I used to swear because like you hear me talk, I swear all the time.
Yeah.
And then so I was doing that in the videos, but I had a lot of people message me be like, "My kids watch this," and which annoys me, but at the same time I was thinking about it, I'm like, who is the target audience? Because you really have to hone in on that. And I was like, yeah, I'd say high school actually is my target audience.
Yeah.
I'd say high school is what I aim for in like low college, like freshman, sophomore.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, okay, maybe if I cut back on that and I just make this as clean as possible. I'm like, I guess that's, and I honestly, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like now I definitely don't swear, and if I'm going to, which is very rare, I cut the word off in half.
Yeah,
with the edit.
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I do
just
that.
to have like an emphasis.
Yeah.
No, girl, I get it. I mean, to be smart, if you really want to, at least I think growing this as a business online, like science communicator, it would help not to curse because you widen the pool that way. But
Yeah, because Disney said that to me. They were like,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
we don't hire anybody who swears. And I was like, Puritans.
no, they're full of shit because I've worked
weird.
with them before. I won't curse in their videos. I've never cursed in a collab
I think
video.
that's their thing where they're like,
No, of course not.
Yeah.
It won't be stupid
Like,
that way.
I get
collab
it.
videos, I won't.
I don't know. If I was running a company, I don't know. I think the profanity of it would be depending on how it's used. You know what I mean? Like if you're just saying fuck like a filler word, like we do in Boston, you know, then who cares? But I think
Yeah.
if you're saying like derogatory terms maybe, or if you're talking about a woman and you keep calling her a bitch.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Then
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, okay, that I
That's
get.
right.
But if you're just
It's,
saying like
insulting.
damn,
yeah,
shit,
like holy shit, that's
gender
so
neutral
cool.
terms, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
that's not like cursing anyone out. It's not even meant in
Yeah.
a negative way. It's like, oh my god, this black hole is so fucking big.
Yeah.
Like, is that really that bad? But okay, also Disney owns like every IP imaginable. I was scrolling through it yesterday trying to find a
Yeah.
movie to watch, and I'm like, oh my god, they own all of
Everything.
this shit, and half of
Yeah.
it's rated R. So give me a break.
Who's
But
buying Warner Brothers right now? People
what's
are pitching
happening
for
with
it.
that?
Um,
I'm forgetting who.
I think Paramount is looking to buy them, which I'm like, where did you get that money?
Yeah, because they were bought by. I'm forgetting. There's been so many mergers. It's just going to be one.
It is.
Disney's just going to go on everything
It's
eventually.
looking that way.
Which is why creativity is dying too. Because think about it. You have
Yeah.
still one person now in charge of even more IP, which is why it's like less and less
Yeah.
creatives getting a
Yeah.
say. So that's why all the shit is like very one-sided or very just shitty, because it's one person. Like one person is in charge of Lionsgate, and they have acquired so much stuff over time.
Yeah.
And so it's just the monopoly of this, what's happening in this industry is just stupid as fuck. But they'll destroy themselves. I mean, what can we do?
At least
We'll have
there's-
social media.
Yeah, and
So-
A24.
Yeah, exactly.
They're saving the day.
Until they get bought out by someone, they'll sell out eventually.
will.
The money's enough.
They will.
Absolutely, they will. And then hopefully someone else pops up. But you're just finding more creative stuff
That's
online
why there's
these
us.
days. That's why there's us.